Dayton, May 19th. Then
Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program may contain adult content and is intended for mature audiences only. Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program is rated for all audiences.
The World According to Elmer is sponsored by CrookedRiverRadio.com. Crooked River Radio is an internet radio station that is live 24/7 playing rock and adult contemporary top 40 hits from the 60s through the 90s. You can find us on Live 365, Simple Radio, Roku, Radio Garden, and even Alexa, as well as our website. Come on and join us on the Crooked River. Welcome aboard. We're headed for the World According to Elmer, with hosts Jerry Sorensen and Pat Morrow. Don't worry, you'll enjoy it there. Better buckle in and enjoy the ride. Here come our hosts now.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The World According to Elmer. I'm Jerry Sorensen, KG8RRY. Our Elmer tonight is Mr. Pat Morrow. He is N8OQP. And with us this evening, we have a special guest, although he should just feel at home here anytime that he wishes to speak to the area. Anthony Lescree is with us, K8ZT. So, fellas, how are you doing this afternoon? And welcome.
Good afternoon, Pat and Jerry. Glad to be with you on radio with the World According to Elmer. And
isn't that a cool title? Isn't that a cool title, Anthony? I know you know.
Yeah, when I can remember it, you know, it's like.
Well, Anthony, the reason he thinks it's cool is I think he named it. I'm trying to think back to a few years ago when all that was going on, but I think this was Pat's invention.
I don't remember. I think you and I we discussed that for about a week.
I think we discussed it then. I think you named it. Anyway, all that aside, guys, it feels real different tonight to be talking to you guys with the sun still up. How about that, huh?
Yeah, really. It's actually
I couldn't
out there
believe
and everything.
It's just we've got time in the evening now. It's just it's a whole new world for all of us here. Pretty soon the sun will be up at 9 o'clock at night, and we'll feel like doing anything, Pat, but this show. And so there we are. But it's a great time in ham radio. I hope you guys have been on the bands this week. Anthony, I was thinking about you. You're kind of the guy that introduced and got going 10 meters here in Northeast Ohio, I think. You were really pushing hard there a couple weeks ago. And about the time that you started pushing for getting on 10 meters and having a little bit of fun, came down and talked, I think, to a couple of clubs here in Starr County, including ours, did a fantastic job. But you started talking up 10 meters. I received an old radio. It's from about 1970, and it was made by the Swan Company. It's called a Siltronics 1011. And this radio is a great sideband tube type radio. Sideband for 10 meters. And Anthony, I want you to know I've had that radio on 10 meters now every day for 2 weeks. The band has been open, at least when I've been on, every day for the last 2 weeks. And so it's hard to imagine 10 meters going to sleep again, the way it's acting.
Well, we should easily get a couple good years here before it goes to sleep. It will die down a little bit over the summer, so don't miss out on this really hot late winter, early spring season. The summertime will be a little bit less, I'm predicting, but it'll kick back up again in the fall. But don't miss out.
Is that traditional, Anthony, that during the summertime you tend to see it back off a little bit?
Yeah, it tends to back off a little bit. It's not significant like it is what happens with 160 and things like that, but you probably will see it back off a little bit.
We're in Hamfest season right now, so get on 10 meters, guys. Work it. It's a lot of fun. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes, but get ready for some Hamfest. And Pat, there's one this weekend. I think this Hamfest is the Toledo Hamfest, which actually is in Perrysburg, Ohio. And then coming up in just a few days, Anthony, something I saw that you're involved with, QSO Today is a magazine that back in what was it, 2000, when we had COVID. They came up with this idea of having a ham fest online because everybody, of course, had to stay at their home and there was no getting together. And so now I see that you're involved with that this year. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing with them.
Yeah, it's not a magazine. It's a concept that came up by Eric Guth. Uh, he's a for Zulu, and I can't remember his call sign off the top of my head. He came up with the idea because Hamfest were closed down during the pandemic, and he's been doing this every half year since the beginning of the pandemic. This will be the fifth one, I think. And I'm going to be doing the opening presentation on Saturday morning. And then I'm going to be doing my presentation on 10 meters during the day. I'll also be hanging out at the tables. There's a table area that you can join and just hang out, just like if you were to Hamfest. If you go, you get lunch and sit down next to someone at a table and start chatting. It's the same sort of thing, but the number of people will be unlimited, and the number of locations won't be limited by the distance they have to travel. So it's a great chance to attend a wide variety of sessions that are being held throughout both Saturday and Sunday. There's actually a kickoff session on Friday night that I'll also be involved with. So starting Friday night and then Saturday and Sunday, when you're not in a session, stop by the round table lounge, pull up a seat next to someone and just start chatting. So it's a
That's
great
excellent.
opportunity to get all the flavor of a ham fest without actually leaving your house.
Now, guys, March 25th, Saturday, Anthony just told us about the Friday night. Now, I did not know about Friday night. Do you know what time on Friday night that starts, Anthony?
It'll be 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific. All the times are based on Pacific time, and that'll be 0100 UTC Saturday morning. So 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 0100 UTC for the beginning. And I'll be part. There's really basically three things going on Friday night. There'll be the YouTubers group. I think they'll be they'll be doing one of the build expos, and then also I'm with the Rat Pack group, and we'll be having a presentation and talking to people about Rat Pack. And then also the tables will be open too, so it's a chance to get started with that. The tables are open even when the Hamfest closes. So even when the expo closes, I'm saying Hamfest. Even when the expo closes. So unlike a Hamfest, when 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock they chase everyone off the site, this stays open all night, and it's a great chance to get on and chat with people during the night too. So if you haven't
Yeah,
signed
that
up
is so
already,
cool because you really don't know who you're going to wind up chatting with. That's a cool aspect, I think, to the show, Anthony. So
yes,
we've
it
got
is.
9 o'clock p.m. on Friday night, several things going on. Saturday and Sunday, both days, of course, the Ham Fest is going on. And I want to say those get underway each day at 11 o'clock our time Eastern, if I'm right.
That is
Uh,
correct.
yeah, I tried to offset for Pacific time there. So at any rate, both Saturday and Sunday. But now there are many, many, many speakers, and I know you're thinking, how am I going to sit at the computer the entire weekend and just stay glued to this computer? I've got other things I have to do. I have to get on the radio sometime over the weekend, right? Everybody has a weekend net they have to attend somewhere. So they understand that. And after the 2 days are passed and the weekend is over, you've paid your money to join in this ham expo. It continues on. You have access to all of the different presentations for a period, I understand, of 30 days. So you
Yeah,
won't miss anything. Believe me, this is well worth your time, guys. If you haven't been in the last couple of years and this is something new to you, definitely put this on your schedule, and it's coming up, so you need to go ahead and get registered. Registration for I guys, I don't think I'm joking if I say there's going to be 30 speakers. I think I saw at least that many pictures of people that are going to be speaking. These are our top rate ham radio operators from all over the world, and so it just goes on and on. The people that are going to be there. So $15 is nothing. That's just helping really, I think, them just put this thing on, because the logistics of getting this whole thing up on the computer and getting all these guys on talk, I can't even imagine what it must look like where they're doing this thing at. but well worth the $15. And after the weekend is over, again, they're not going to just yank everything on you. All the links will continue to work for another month. So if you can't see what you want to see in a month, I don't know what to say about that. But uh, but yeah, you're right. That is one of the nice things about it. They're not going to throw you out at 3:30 in the afternoon and say, "Here you go, we're done." So if you
This is
want
what
to,
the
guys, go to the website. Let me give you now. This is four words, but made into one word. Okay. So if you got it there, no,
yes.
I don't see it. Okay, here it is, guys. It's QSO Today Ham Expo. Those four words made into one word. QSO Today hamexpo.com. And I've already done my registration. So it's very easy to do, very intuitive, very user friendly. So if you're not already signed up, make sure that you get on there because it's going to be here, as we say, before you know it.
And here's a little quick shot of what the tables look like, just to give you an idea. They're round tables. You simply go up to a table and you can see who else is there by just hovering your mouse around the chairs. You can see who the other people are. And you can simply click on a chair, empty chair, and sit down and join the group.
Well, that is great.
And
I
there's,
have
as you
not
can
seen that
notice,
before.
this is table 37. I think there's a total of 40 or 48 tables. Some will be assigned to specific organizations or groups. Let's see. For example, here's one for the Rat Pack. Here's one for Expo speakers. There'll be one for administrative things. And then there'll be topic areas. There'll be rag chewing, antennas, building equipment. So you can pull up at a table and find people that have similar interests to you without even having to know who the people are.
Boy, this is really well thought out, isn't it?
Yes, it's a big project, and Eric fortunately has people working on this all around the world. I know the young lady who does a lot of the work is in Milan. Eric's in Israel. He has another person from I forget where they're all at, but they're scattered all over the world. And through the magic of online platforms, he pulls everything together. We're using the VFair platform this year is the platform that they're using to pull things together.
Well, that's just great. And we have such good programs these days that this stuff actually comes off without a hitch. It's not like the old days where some of the stuff that happened online was kind of hit and miss. That's not the case here at all. This is well thought out, well presented, and it'll be well worth your time. So that's the plug for QSA today, QSO today. I saw you were going to be there, Anthony. I saw you were going to be on our show tonight. I thought we got to talk about this a little bit. And you're going to be doing the thing on 10 meters again that you shared with us down here in Massillon. Tell us a little bit about that program that you're going to present.
This is the title screen, and let me just pop it up real quick. This is the title screen. It's called 10 Meter Band Fun for All. And I'm going to talk about different aspects of how 10 meters is a way that every license from technician up can get on and use phone on HF. There's a portion of that. Also, the other uses of 10 meters, depending on what license level you have. I'll be talking about getting involved with 10 meters, how this is the time. I'm going to show you a quick shot here. Go through this real quick. So right now, here's what the sunspot activity's been. We're ahead of the curve, fortunately. We're above the curve, and hopefully the next couple of years we should be in good shape. Just give you another quick view of something. This is the number of, these are the countries I have worked with my 5 watts since the beginning of January. So 73 days,
Holy moly.
134 countries. This is 10 meters only, 5 watts. I do have a small beam, but running 5 watts. So a station with a 100 watts in a vertical could do probably close to this also.
I'm looking through there, and I'm not on 5 watts, and I'm not operating with the beam here when I'm on 10 meters. I've got a DX Commander 1080 vertical, and the 10 is it basically it's a vertical wire is what it is, Anthony. And
Yes.
I'm looking at some of the places that you got. This is amazing that you got all these places on 5 watts because I'm looking through here. You have Madeira Island. I have them. But I wasn't doing this on 10 watts. This 1011, the Siltronics 1011 puts out about 175 watts on 10 meters with its sweep tubes that it uses for finals. The Philippines, South America has been hot for me, Anthony. I've talked all over South America, including Argentina, and I always wanted Argentina in my book, so that was a nice call. And Paraguay, that was one I didn't have that I was able to put in my book. So I think I think there's a kind of a I don't know if there's it's misunderstanding is probably not the right word. I think for speaking only for myself personally, I have a lack of experience on 10 meters. It's just now that I'm really getting interested in it. And I think that I have not understood the really, what I'm seeing is on 10 meters, distance means basically nothing. You just don't know what's going to pop up.
Yeah, the only thing the thing that's important to remember though is it does tend to open to different parts of the world at different times during the day. So if you want to work Europe, get up in the morning, early out at and by the end of the by early afternoon, Europe is pretty much gone. South America will be real big then. By evening, you'll start to get Japanese stations, and later in the evening, you'll start getting Australian, New Zealand, New Caledonia, etc. So it is a little bit of time basis. So if you want to pick a specific area of the world, remember that pretty much in the morning to the east of you, to in the middle of the day to the south, and in the evening to the west of you. That's the case on most of the higher HF bands.
In the afternoons, late afternoons, Anthony, this is to speak to your point. I've noticed that California and those stations out west begin to come in strong.
Yes, yes, that is true.
But for you to have talked to Japan and China and some of those other on 5 watts, it's not radio happening up at your place, Anthony. It's just purely magic.
Well, one of the things I do, and this is one of my suggestions, I operate all three modes. I operate phone, single sideband, I operate CW, and I operate FT8, and that increases my chances of getting stations on 10 meters. If you're not on FT8 on 10, give it a try. It's really a good way to work some of the stations, especially if you have less power, a poorer antenna, or things like that. So don't forget about the different possibilities with different modes of getting opportunities. And then don't forget about contests. I'm going to put something up on the screen. This is something that I had out a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to revise it. But it's called Get a Local Ham on 10 meters. And the idea is if you pick a contest weekend when there's a lot of activity, even not even worrying about entering the contest or being competitive, just the fact that there's going to be a lot of stations on that are going to want to talk to you. And coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend, and I won't get to do a lot of it because I'll be at the QSO Today Expo, is the CQ WPX contest. And that's a contest where everyone works everyone. So you can work DX stations, you can work domestic stations. The exchange is a serial number, so each time you make a contact, you increment up one. And if you're not interested in entering the contest, you don't even need to worry about copying the other station's serial number, just their call sign information. But make sure you can give them an accurate serial number, whether you're doing it on paper or whether you're doing it computer logging, so that you can keep making contacts. And that's coming up on the following weekend. And it's a great opportunity to get on the air and make contacts in a time when there's going to be a lot of people on the air. And
And that's a big deal. You know, so many people get on the air and they call CQ and nobody answers. They say, well, you know, the band's dead, just like kicking the tire and walking away from the car. They don't come back to it. When we've talked, Pat and I have talked about this a lot. If you really want to be heard and you want to try something in a new area that you're not used to, then then get on when there's a contest, because the big difference on contest day is those people are listening for you. If there's no contest going on, it's kind of hit and miss. But you got a whole you've got as if you walked into an auditorium of people that want your call sign in their book, and so you're going to have people to talk to, and that's a big difference.
in this contest, the multiplier, in other words, you get a bonus for working each of the different prefixes, the beginning of the call sign. So with a lot of newcomers who have, for example, in our area have Kilo Echo 8 call signs, those are going to be in demand because there's not going to be that many people in the contest with those. So there's a good chance that with your technician call sign that you're going to be in demand and people are going to want to work you. So the CQ Worldwide WPX, you can just type in cqwpx.com and go to the website, find out about the rules. But the exchange is a serial number. So the first contact you make, you give the person a 1. The second one, you give them a 2, and so forth and so forth. So that's coming up on March 25th and 26th on single sideband. That'll actually start on Friday night because that's March 25th UTC's time. So it'll
Yep.
start at 8 p.m. Eastern time and go through 8 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. So it's a full 48 hours you can work. And single sideband version, the CW version of this contest comes up typically on the weekend of Memorial Day. It'll be in May. So this is the single sideband version in March. So that's a great opportunity to get on the air and work during that particular activity.
Well, so for everyone who joined us tonight, we already have your weekend for the 25th and the 26th planned out.
Yes, we
You're,
actually, as is the case with me quite often, I've actually overbooked that weekend. I have more things than I should have booked for that weekend when you talk about the QSO Today Expo. If you don't mind, Jerry, I'm going to give a little excerpt here of my opening talk for the expo.
please do. And Pat, while Anthony has the ball here, I'm going to go ahead and log out, log back in so we can hopefully get some video up.
Okay, no problem.
So this is an excerpt near the end of my talk, actually, but I'm doing the opening session called Technician License, What are the Possibilities? And I'll be talking about a lot of things, but I wanted to share this part with you. And you can get to this by going to tiny.cc/QE-excerpt. Or you can shoot the QR code, and I'll make sure I keep this up here for just a few minutes. So if you want to shoot that in the video, tiny.cc/QE-excerpt, and that'll give you just a couple slides from my slide presentation, which has quite a few. But the part I want to talk about real quick is getting help with new activities. And this is something that is really good for new hams, but it's also good for any ham who wants to try something out new or wants to get new skills. So I'm just listing a couple things here, and you'll need to get to the slideshow to click on the links, but read a book. There's quite a many books available from the AWRL Bookshop. Read a magazine, the AWRL QST and the beginners magazine called On the Air are two great resources, plus QEX is available, and Contest Journal. CQ Magazine, I write a quarterly column for that. Visit a website. Start with my website, kzt.com. There's a lot of resources there that you can find. And get a mentor, someone that can help answer questions and avoid some common pitfalls of amateur radio. And you might say, well, how do I find a mentor? Probably the best place is to look to a local club in your area. And you can use these links from the AWRL and QRZ.com to find radio clubs in your geographic area that you can join. Now, nowadays, you might also find a mentor online. There's lots of websites and mailing lists that are geared towards helping people become better amateur radio operators. And one common fallacy is that you can only have one mentor. In fact, many hams have multiple mentors both in person and online. And I'm the same way. If I have a question about antennas, I'm going to go to one person. If I have a question about test equipment, I have another person that's my go-to person, and so forth. So it doesn't hurt to have multiple mentors. In addition to direct mentoring or online mentoring, you might want to look at some in-person and indirect mentoring resources. Attending field days. This link will let you find out when local clubs in your area are doing field day. Field day will be the third weekend in June.
Yeah.
And you can click on this link, and this link will be populated as a map with different locations. Right now, there's not a lot on the map, but you'll start seeing more over time as people come in and fill in their spots on the map. And I actually have mine filled in because I'm going to be down here in West Virginia. This is actually me down here. So you can use this to find field day sites in your area, and you can visit them and do that. If you're already a member of a club, plan on possibly joining them for their field day activity and being active with them. Attend a hamvention or convention. Again, this link will take you to a search site that lets you search for hamventions and conventions in your area throughout the year. If you're still a technician, think about taking an upgrade class. This link will let you search for classes that are active during specific times and places. A lot of classes are also done online, so you don't have to worry about the aspect of going to a specific location. Also, find hams near you. I have an article here that helps you find hams near you. And this is one of the links from that. It's called Amateur Radio License Map. You can simply type in a call sign. And once you do that, it'll show you a map where you're located on the map, but it'll also show you all the hams in your immediate area. You can zoom in closer or further out and see them. If you click on any of these, it takes you out to QRZ website for more information on that particular ham. So again, you'll be surprised to find hams in your area by using the amateur radio license map. And then
That was a lot of people.
in addition to joining a local club, consider joining a specialty club. This is something where people who have an interest in one aspect of amateur radio are in a club. It might be a club that meets in person. It might be a club that meets online. It might be an international club. There's contesting clubs, DXing clubs. I'm a member of 2 contesting clubs. I'm a member of 2 QRP clubs. So when you click on these links, it'll take you out to more resources on uh, all these different QRP clubs that you might want to join. If you click on this one, it'll take you out to contesting clubs, and there's a lot of them out there, and you can find one in your area that you want to join. In addition, you can use a wide variety of online mentoring resources. The QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo, even if you don't attend this one this year, you can go back and look at the archives of the previous sessions and watch the videos from those. The Rat Pack group, which I'm one of the planning committee members of, has a Wednesday and Thursday presentation every week at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and they have done now over 270 of them. You can see the upcoming ones by going to their link at tiny.cc/ratpack, RATPAC-list, or go to their website, ratpack, ratpac.us. It'll get you the information also. You can see upcoming events that are coming up scheduled, but you can also see previous events, and you can go to any of these and click on watch the video, download slideshows and other resources. These are all available and all free, and you're welcome to use them with your local club. If you need a program one night and you don't have a speaker, you can come in and you can find something on almost any topic, from Wednesday night's general interest, Thursday nights is emergency communication. If you want to see my series that I did on HF operation with Dennis Kidder, W6DQ, we did 3 weeks. There's 3 full hours of getting started with HF, and there's another series I did with N8VI, Marty Wohl. We have 4 weeks on VHF, getting started with VHF and UHF. You can simply click on the YouTube videos. Some of them have Vimeo download links where you can download the video if you want to watch that way. So again, that's the Rat Pack group, RATPAC-US is their website.
Great resource.
And there's also a number of amateur radio mailing lists out there. You can go to group.io and do a search, find your radio that's your favorite model radio that you're using, and join that mailing list. Get information in that way. I find mailing lists are a lot more useful and reliable than other forms of social media, such as Facebook or Twitter. These mailing lists usually have quite significant followings and people that are experts in the field. So think about some amateur radio mailing lists. And don't forget about YouTube. There's a great variety of things out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of garbage and there's a lot of great stuff and everything in between. So you need to be selective. And my rule of thumb is if they're trying to sell me something on a show and they're getting paid to show me stuff, I don't tend to go there. I tend to go to people who I trust more and aren't really commercializing the process. So there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that you can watch with a lot of good information. So that's just an excerpt from my slide presentation. That's like 6 slides out of 70, I think. And you can get to those by going to tiny.cc/QE-expert, or scan the little QR code with your phone from the video here, and that'll get you to this little excerpt.
I'll tell you this, from having listened to you make a presentation and having sat there, if you're writing down, like right now while you were talking, I was taking notes, there's smoke coming off the end of my pencil. You're very busy. You have 70 slides, but you work through those pretty fast, and it's important to listen carefully, or you're going to get left behind. I've learned that. You've been given a blessing in that you seem to know just the right amount of information to impart.
Well, sometimes I probably have a little bit too much there, but I feel all my slideshows are actually homework, and you really don't get the full advantage of them until you go back and start clicking on the links and explore all the links that I've provided for you.
Okay, this is good stuff, and so we're looking forward to having you with us in here in our computer in our virtual rooms here, and that is so awesome about the tables. I had not seen that before, and I didn't realize you could scan around or you could hover around and see who's sitting at the table with you. But there'll be a lot of people there, a lot of names that you'll know. And you never know who you're going to happen upon when you go to one of those tables. I know that I'll be visiting the Rat Pack table just based upon your recommendation. What is this Rat Pack? You always talking about the Rat Pack.
Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you their website real quick here. It's ratpac.us, and the Rat Pack group was started by a gentleman, Dan Maurer, K7REX. He's the section manager for Idaho. And when the pandemic started up, he felt like it was a problem because hams didn't have a chance to have meetings and they didn't know what was going on. So he started this idea out, and eventually I was invited. We have about 8 people that work on the committee, and we search for speakers on topics, and we also take suggestions from people. I'm just going to go ahead and play this little video if you don't mind. It's a little introduction to Rat Pack. It's a year old. I haven't got the new version here yet, but it's a year old, so I'll bring this up for you. And let me bring up my sound a little bit. Stands for Radio Amateur Training, Planning, and Activities Committee. There's a number of resources in this presentation. You can access them at tiny.cc/ratpack.
We're not seeing anything, Anthony. You're not
Okay,
shared.
you're not getting any audio.
Way faint, Anthony.
Okay, let me fix that. Let me fix that. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to switch over my audio to the audio from the system so you'll hear it. Okay, so there's the slideshow. Let me get this started at the beginning again. And I'm going to switch my audio over temporarily here. If you could give me a thumbs up if you're getting audio when I start this up. Okay. Tell me if you're hearing audio now. The activities committee. There's a number of resources in this presentation. You can access them.
We've got the
It's real faint.
presentation, but it's not. It's real faint.
Okay, let me just go ahead and skip the audio here. So, in 2020, Dan Muller, K7REX, started this process during the COVID outbreak. And get it running here. There we go. And we host nationwide twice a week amateur radio presentations. As of September 2022, there was 225. We're now up over 270 sessions that are available for watching.
So this is much like an online ham club.
It is, but there's no membership, there's no dues, there's no minutes, there's nothing like that. The topics are selected from audience recommendations. Wednesdays focus on general radio topics. Thursday sessions focus on amateur radio emergency communications. And we have a lot of people who are very tied into emergency communications. We have a wide variety of ways you can follow us through Group IO mailing list, online listings on our spreadsheet, by going to our website, following us on Twitter, following us on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel where we post all of our recorded videos.
Well, that's interesting. I had no idea this organized. I've heard you talk about Rat Pack, and I thought one of these times I'm going to ask him what that is. But this is very interesting. This is interesting to me. And I think that these type of resources are very helpful. There's a lot of misinformation that floats around for whatever reason in the ham radio community. And the way that you combat this information is with education, and this seems to be an educationally driven place.
And one of the big things about this is all the presentations are live. They're not recorded, pre-recorded, so we have a live audience that can ask questions at the end or during the process. So you can follow us in any of these ways, and that way you'll know what's coming up. You'll get announcements of upcoming shows. You'll get announcements of when recordings are available. So even if you can't attend in person, I know 9 p.m. is a little tough for some people on the East Coast to attend. So these are the times, again, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Right now we're at 01 UTC, and you just go to the website, click on the Zoom links, and join the meeting, and that's all you need to do. So again, this is the website. It's ratpack.us, and we actually have the list of programs here on the site also, or you can use the link here to go out and view them that way. You can also sort through the programs by date, by topic, by presenter, and you can also click on this and fill out the form here and get a notification of when the upcoming sessions are going on if you want to be notified in that way. So again, that's the Rat Pack group, and it's something there's no outside funding. This is all funded by people that are involved in the project, and the idea is it's just something to enlighten the ham radio community and not really to be a membership group or anything like that.
Okay, it's all good. We're gonna be having a pretty full spring, early summer here of things that we have in this area as far as ham radio is concerned, and this is just more resource, and so it's all good. We appreciate the update on all this, Anthony. What are you doing right now at your home station?
Oh, well, what I'm doing this week is the W1AW Portable 8 week for Ohio. We have 2 weeks during the year where it's going to be in Ohio, and I was operating today from about 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock, doing contacts on 20-meter phone, 40-meter phone, and 15-meter FT8 with the W1AW Portable 8 call sign. I'll be doing that again tomorrow, and I'll be on again on Tuesday, but there'll be people throughout the week operating from W1AW Portable 8 in Ohio, W1AW Portable 7 in Arizona this week, and Virginia W1AW Portable 4. And those also count for the Volunteer on the Air program that's going on this year through the ARRL. There's 2 different tracks of working that. Let me bring this up real quick. If you go to the ARRL website and search for VOTA, Volunteer on the Air, each time you work people who are involved with as volunteers, if they have an appointed position, like I'm the Ohio Section Youth Coordinator, so when you work me on the air, you get a certain number of points. It's all done through Logbook of the World, and if you put in your call sign, you can see if you're uploading to Logbook of the World, even though you don't realize it, you can see how many points you've accumulated so far. So I've accumulated 430 contacts with people who count towards volunteers on the air, worth 3,300 points. And I have been contacted myself with KZT 761 times. All the information is under the Volunteer on the Air homepage here. And they also talk about the portable W1AW stations in this portion here. And there is a list available, but I don't know where the link is to the list. Here it is. These are the different states that are going to be on each week. You can see here in the middle of March, we're working W1AW, and there's a coordinator that you can contact when your state is on the air to volunteer to work. Different states are handling it in different ways. Some are having certain clubs involved. Other groups are doing it different ways. So find your week, and there'll be 2 of them for your club, for your state during the year. Ohio's going to be back on the air again the last weekend in August. So it'll be back on again. And if you're in Ohio, contact Tom Sly, the section manager, and tell him you're interested in operating. Or if you still want to try and jump in right now, there might still be some spots available this week. Contact Bill Saylor, who's handling the this week's session. Again, ARRL VOTA, that's what you search for on the web, and that'll take you there. with information on that. So that's what I've been doing today. I was running 100 watts, which seems like a lot for me, and I was calling CQ all day, and I'm usually a 100 pouncer and operating QRP, but that's what I was doing all day today, so I had a lot of fun.
My God,
Anthony,
Anthony, a hundred
you went
watts,
QRO today.
Yes,
100 watts, Anthony. My God.
yes.
100 watts. Wow. Yeah, I've talked with a number of the W1AW stations. I have found that to be very interesting. Of course, I'm on CW most of the time, but I've talked all over the country to different W1AW because there's no borders in the United States when you're on CW. You can talk about
Yeah.
anywhere you want. So I knew they were out there. I didn't realize it was such an organized event, although it makes sense to me that it is. And now I know how to look for it. So thank you for sharing that. I'll go out there. And
Yeah.
thank you, by the way, for investing your time back in the hobby and taking the responsibility to be out on the air and to do that. I commend you for that, Anthony. That's good stuff.
Oh, by the way, next week, starting on Wednesday, will be Tennessee and New Mexico will be on next week.
Yeah, I've been watching. At the very beginning, when first time you came on the show here a few weeks back, you were talking about the fact that there are state CUSO parties. I think you said on every weekend except for two, as I recall. And so I've been making sure that I get at least someone from every state each weekend. So I've been I've been adding them in and keeping track of what I'm getting, and that's just another fun thing to do when you're out on the air.
Well, there's going to
Yeah,
be
the
a
idea was to collect them all, like
Yep.
Pokemon.
There's going to be a double bonus this week because this weekend is the Virginia QSO party, and it's also Virginia is the portable W1AW portable 4 station. So I'm not sure. I'm assuming that they probably will have a station on the air. But here's the upcoming contest. This weekend is Virginia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, and so forth. And there's pretty much activity all the way through the middle of June. Then during July, there's not much going on. It starts back up in August. Ohio's party will be the last Saturday in August on the 27th of August. And the last of the QSO parties will be the next to the last weekend in October with the Illinois party. So again, State QSO Party Challenge is the website that you can go to, and that will get you information on the State QSO Party Challenge. And you can upload your information to the 3830 website. It tells you how to do it on here. And when you do that, you'll then show up on the leaderboard where we keep track of all the cumulative points that people make from all the different contests throughout the year, and you can get awards from this process also. So here's the QSO Party Challenge. There's been 8 parties so far, and let's see how many people have worked all 8. We have 110 people that have worked all 8 of the parties so far. There's 39 more to go.
Well, that is just amazing. Yeah, no, that's a fun hunt, and these are the types of things that you need to know. If you don't know about it, you're not involved in it. But it's interesting to hear the different states. I always laugh about the Ohio QSO party. Out in Kansas, they assign, I don't know, maybe 20 special event stations to people. And so we'll be humming along with the Ohio QSO party. And then all of a sudden, Kansas comes on the air at 8 o'clock in the evening. And all of a sudden, it goes from being the Ohio party to being the all wall to wall, every band Kansas party because they put all those special event stations on the air and everybody starts calling Kansas.
By the way, if you go to the Rat Pack site, you can go back a couple months ago and see a presentation I did on the State QSO Party Challenge for that group. You can watch the video.
Okay, and that's on Rat Pack.
Yes.
Anthony, while we have you here, is there anything else going on that the people enjoying the world according to Elmer tonight need to know about?
Those are the main things I can think of right now. Of course, in a couple months, we'll be having the Dayton Hamvention coming up. And if you're going down to Dayton and you have an extra day, there's 2 really great activities on Thursday. The Thursday before Dayton, there's 4 days in May. They abbreviate FDIM. 4 days in May is a QRP form that goes on the Thursday before Dayton, and they have a full day of presentations. It's sponsored by the QRP ARCI, and they have a full day of presentations going on. And you can go and find out information on the 4 days of May by going to qrparci.org, and you can register for that. If you're not into QRP, but you're into contesting, you might want to consider going to Contest University. And
Yep.
Contest University is on that same Thursday. And here's the course outline for Contest University. I'll zoom in a little bit. And you can see that starts off with a breakfast, which is always good. I'm always for a breakfast buffet. And then they have some preliminary speakers, and then there'll be 4 sessions going each hour with a small break for snacks. I will be doing a session at 10:15 p.m. on year-long contests, including the State QSO Party Challenge and the CQ DX Marathon. And then in the 4th session, I'll be doing one on QRP and low power contesting. So that is Contest University. It's a great resource. And if you want some idea of what it's like, go back and look at the videos of the previous years and you'll see some great presentations. These are all available for free for you to go back and take a look at. And are you seeing my screen shared or not?
No.
I'm not
I'm
right
sorry.
now.
There we go.
Oh,
Here
there
we
we
go.
are. Yep.
I'm sorry about that. So I was talking and it did not, for some reason, it stopped sharing there for a second. So as I said, these are all the sessions taking place. There's 4 every hour for the Contest University. 4 days in May is the QRP ARCI group. And those are the Thursday before Dayton. And then at Dayton, in addition to going to all the vendors, visiting the flea market, buying stuff, eating stuff. There's also forums that go on throughout the full weekend. And typically there's about 3 different forums going on at the same time in different rooms. I know that I am going to be taking part on Friday afternoon in the antenna forum, and my talk is entitled The 10 Worst Antennas You Can Have. And I'm going to talk about that. So that'll be my topic coming up. So if you're going to Dayton, if you get a chance on Friday, stop in at the antenna forum and see me and find out about the 10 worst antennas you can have. I'll give you one clue. The absolute worst antenna you can have is no antenna at all. So
Well, there you go.
that's number 1, but it goes on from there, and it's a series of antennas. So that's something else to keep busy with, and that's coming up in April. And
I'm
then of
looking
course,
forward to that. I'm going to make it a play. I just circled that the 10 antennas, 10 worst antennas. So I'm looking forward to that.
and then of course, soon as that's done, we have May coming up, and I'll be back. I'll be busy with a couple of state QSO parties that are real big. There's a real big state weekend of QSO parties at the beginning of May with the 7th District QSO party that includes all the 7 states in the 7th call district. And also on that same day is the 1 district called the CQ party and the Delaware party and the Indiana party all in one day. So it's a chance to work about 14 different states all in one day. So it's a great day to get active. And then at the end of the month, I'll be doing the CQWPX CW on Memorial Day weekend. And then we have Field Day coming up. It's not too early to think about Field Day. Field Day's coming up the 3rd weekend in June. So it's a busy couple months coming up.
Our field day, Pat, if you're listening, our field day is going to be down here at Perry Park in Perry Township between Canton and Massillon. And we're looking forward to that. In fact, we've been out surveying the land, Anthony. We've been measuring out where we're going to have our CW tent, where the guys are going to be setting up to do sideband, et cetera, where we're going to be putting our antennas in. What type of a location do you guys have up in Cuyahoga Falls?
Yeah, we use Silver Springs Park, which is in the northeast corner of Stowe, and it's a very nice park because first of all, there's the best thing possible, flush toilets. So that's the best thing for good eyesight. But then we have a lot of places to park, and there's a camping site right next to it, so people can camp if they want to for the weekend. And we get a lot of public exposure because of the fact that it's in a public park there. So we've been doing it there for a number of years. I actually started the first year that we did it there back, I think it was mid to late 80s. I can't remember exactly when we started at the Silver Springs Park, but the city of Stowe has been very gracious in letting us do this for a number of years. So um, I was out with the group last year. Typically on field day, my wife and I travel though, and we pick a state. So I'm going to be in West Virginia this year doing my field day.
Okay. Yeah, no, field day is a big deal here, and you want to get the public as involved as you possibly can. One of the things I like about Perry Park down here is it's completely surrounded by residential houses. So we've got a lot of kids in this park, and we've got a lot of people that are going to be exposed to what we're doing. And we always bring the trailer out. We put the antennas up to where we kind of make a show of what's going on, and that tends to attract some attention. We had some people come and operate with us last year that had never operated a ham radio before, that are members of the club now. So it's not without its advantages, and once the right in, is going to be right smack dab in the middle of all these ham fests that are going on. We were talking earlier about the ham fest. This weekend, of course, is Toledo in Perrysburg, uh, uh, up north, and then 415 Cuyahoga Falls. Uh, is this back in the same location this
Yes,
year?
it
It,
is.
it, yes, it'll be the same location, Emilio's Party Center on Bath Road in Cuyahoga Falls. By the way, on Toledo, I'll be speaking. I'll be doing my presentation on portable operations at, I think it's 10:15. So if you're in Toledo, stop by and see me in person this weekend. The Falls Fest will be on a Saturday, the 15th of April, and we hope to have a big turnout for that. So that's coming up, and then the following week after that is the Tesco Group's
Right.
new April date. So that'll be the 22nd, and that's going to be a good event to attend also. So there's a number of Hamfests coming up before Dayton that you can get a chance to go to. I know it's a little early for Field Day, but because you mentioned Field Day, I want to share this with people. If you go to tiny.cc/HRY, I'm sorry, HRYC, where you can shoot the QR code in the video here at the top, this is a handout that you can laminate and use for youth and teachers at your Hamfest site. On one side, it has all these resources, and they can simply scan the QR code with their phone and bring that resource home with them. On the back, it has a section talking about what Field Day is and a brief description with information on what's going on at the field day site. So
Boy,
you
that
can
is a great
laminate these,
resource.
and just one. You only need one copy of each laminated. Set them down on the table. People can scan them. There's what is amateur radio, the kids radio zone, the Zach and Max comic books, information for teachers, a starter's guide for people that are interested in getting an amateur radio, quick start guide, handouts I use when I work with schools, information on makers, Morse code, and even instructions on how to build a Morse code key with a clothespin, and how they can use their computer or cell phone to tune in software defined radios. And I'm going to be doing this presentation for the Woodchuck group in Parma next Friday night. So if you're interested in my online software defined radio presentation, look up the Woodchuck Amateur Radio Club in Parma, Ohio. They'll be doing the session hybrid, I think, both in Zoom and in person. So that's coming up this Friday. And
That's
also,
interesting.
if your local club is interested in the presentation, I have an extensive list of presentations at tiny.cc/K8ZT-P. And this list has all the different presentations. Here's the title at the top here that I've been doing. You can click on the slideshows. You can click on some of the ones that have recorded videos. But more important, if you get on the bottom is my email address. And if your local club is interested in the presentation, please contact me. I can either do it live if you're in the immediate area here in person, or I can do it live via Zoom if you're outside there. I've done over 325 presentations for clubs around the US, Canada, and the UK since the beginning of COVID.
You have been busy, and we're seeing you around. And so you said next Friday night in Parma. Is that correct?
Yes, next Friday night is Parma at the Woodchuck Amateur Radio Club. I don't remember exactly where they meet, but it's pretty easy to find them if you search on the web for the Woodchuck Amateur Radio Club, and that's coming up. I will be doing a couple other groups coming up, but I'll be doing the Hamfest in Longmont, Colorado on April 1st. I'll be doing the Huntsville Amateur Radio Club tomorrow night, and I have Pasadena Club coming up next Tuesday, or 2 weeks from Tuesday. So Orlando Club in the beginning of April.
Well,
So
we
I
won't
keep
have
busy.
any trouble remembering you for the Friday night session, because first thing that comes to my mind, if you're tempted to forget it, just think of how much wood can a woodchuck chuck.
Yes.
If a woodchuck could chuck wood,
And
and you'll remember where Anthony's going to be.
here's the slideshow presentations again. KZT I'm sorry, tiny.cc/KZT-P, and this will give you information on all my different talks, and some of them, quite a few of them, have videos you can watch also for them.
Pat, are you in there? You have not had a word to say this
Oh,
last hour,
I'm
Pat.
just sitting here taking it all in, Jer.
Okay,
Well,
Pat,
it wouldn't be
I'll let
fair
you
to wrap
talk
it
now.
up without giving you a chance to talk, you know?
Not a problem. I'm just enjoying
This
the
is
hell
the
out of
world
this.
according to Elmer, and we're wrapping it up here, folks. The world according to Elmer on the Crooked River Radio Network. Anthony Lescree is our guest tonight, and boy, he just everything you do, Anthony, you do with excellence, and your presentations are always good. And mechanically, there's sound, you know, the equipment works, and you're just a pleasure to have in our area. We consider you a treasure around here, and so we're always glad when you can come and spend some time with us. We got about I don't know 2 or 3 minutes, so I'm going to throw it back to you one more time and give that time to you if you'd like it, and if not, we'll wrap up. But back over to you, Anthony, for any closing thoughts on the program.
And
Well,
also
I think
tell
I
how you
probably
can.
overwhelmed everyone a little bit, so I'm gonna let Pat talk a little bit.
Why don't you tell us how people can get a hold of you? What's the easiest way? Twitter or whatever.
KHZT.com is my website. Kilo 8 Zulu Tango uh, is my website. You can go there and get a hold of me that way. K8ZT73 at gmail.com.
And KZT at cfarc.org, right?
Yes.
Forgot that one too.
What was that, Pat?
K8ZT at cfarc.org is the other one.
Yeah, cfarc.org, cfarc.org. Head to that gang if you need information on the upcoming Hamfest coming up on the 15th of April. And by the way, that's a big room, guys. There's a lot of vendors and a lot of tables are going to be sold. Pat,
The,
how are you doing on tables this year?
the way that I'm hearing it, it's over 50% sold now.
Oh, wow. It's
And
going to be a
there's
big
more
Hamfest
coming
then.
every day. The way I've been hearing things is that we're probably going to be setting close to a record this year as far
Well,
as
that's
attendance.
great. And there were people came in last year with campers and stayed all night. These fellas that
Yeah,
were
they
doing the
do that.
vending,
They
and
do
so
that.
we're looking forward to a real good Hamfest as always up in Cuyahoga Falls. And the one then the week after down in Tuscarawas County at the Tuscarawas County Fairgrounds, the Tusco Club. They have over $4,000. Well, in fact, that's old news. I'll bet they're over five by now. But a few weeks ago, they were over $4,000 in door prizes for that Hamfest. Hamfest is just amazing this year, and it seems like everybody so far, Hamfest wise, is doing very well. And it was kind of looking uncertain there for a while as far as how this Hamfest season was going to go. You know that they canceled the one up in Utica, New York.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So people watch that because that's a big ham fest, and that might be a harbinger of things to come. But apparently not here in Northeast Ohio anyway. Things seem to be going well ham fest wise for this season.
Since we got out of the pandemic and everything like that, things are starting to open back up. I think it's going to get better than it,
Is there
at
going to
least
be
for a while.
coffee at the Cuyahoga
We're
Falls
actually
Ham
going to
Fest?
have one hell of a vendor there. We got this girl called Southern Thangs, Thang.
Jillian's Southern Things, and she's going to have her food truck there. So
Oh wow!
the food truck will be parked right outside outside the sidewalk there, and you can go out and get. She's going to be having breakfast items, coffee, and then I think there's also going to be lunch items coming up a little later. So we should have a good selection of food available this year.
Yeah, it'll be a
That's
lot different than
outstanding.
last year. And
Yeah, well, stuff
I
happens,
know
Pat.
you, Jerry. I know you,
But
Jerry.
I couldn't pass by that, right?
I ain't worried about it a bit.
Pat Morrow is our Elmer. He is N80QP. Anthony tonight, Anthony Lescree, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you. K8ZT, the welcome light is on anytime. I'm Jerry Sorensen, KG8RRY. Just a pleasure to be here tonight, folks. And we're looking forward to seeing you next week, right here at the same time here on the Crooked River for another edition of The World According to Elmer. Until then, 73, everybody. Have a great evening, and thanks for being
73.
here.
What's that, Anthony? Go ahead.
73.
Oh, okay.
73.
7-3, y'all. Y'all have a good evening, and we'll be back next week, like it or not. 7-3, y'all.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. See you again soon.